Greetings everyone. My name is Navin Mahato, fourth semester training teacher at Sponsa Teachers Training College. And today I'll be presenting a topic, the most debated topic, equity and equality in relation to caste, religion, ethnicity, disability with reference to our Indian society. This is a very important topic in current day most debated one. So let's get into it. Before the going into the core definition, I would like to share a meaningful quote. Equality is giving everyone the same opportunity. Equity is giving what they need to succeed in life. This could clearly explain the difference between equality and equity. In our countries, whereas there are many diversity, people belongs to different caste, religion, economic background, good cultural abbreviation, and of different types. So it's a unique. It creates a many inequality. Therefore, both equality and equity is necessary for building a fair, inclusive society. So, where equity is that same right, same rule, same fundamental access, a treatment to everyone, and identically before law and institution. So this basically says that equality means that treating everyone with the same way. Every person would like to have the same right, same opportunities is before law, protection before law. Another is equity. Equity says that fairness in outcome, adjusted resources, support, and opportunities addressed to historical advantages and diverse need. So, on the other hand, equity means that fairness. It recognizes that people do not start from the same position in life. Some people need extra support of the society or economic or physical disadvantages as to succeed in life. In simple word, that equality gives everyone the same opportunity, while equity gives people the support they need or benefit to get benefited from to rise to the equal level of all other people in the society. It's basically like a scaffolding, or can be said that giving them a minute advantage so that they can compete with the all the other people in the same level. Next is why it's matter in India. Basically, what is why equity and equality is more debated one in India. India is rich diversity as filled with caste, class, religion, ethnicity, disability, creates a unique starting point. Several structural disadvantages, historical exclusion, economic stratification, and social stigma means that identical treatment often reduces the inequality, reproduces as inequality. That's going to it's in India. Many people come from different social backgrounds. Feel many community face discrimination because of caste, poverty, religion, and ethnicity or disability. If they treated everyone exactly without same without considering their differences, many people will still remain disadvantages. So the inequality, so this treatment, if the equality is applied to everyone, this will keep the society who are disadvantages in the same state. No recover or progress from that state will happen if we treat so therefore, equity becomes necessary in our society because it helps removes the barrier and gives additional support to the where that is needed. So both equity and equity are important for our society. So in our society, I am going to discuss about the different and context for equity and equality. First, equity and equality in context of caste. So, caste equality is provided that legal provision of caste discrimination and equal voting and formal school education and in court. So, equality means that every citizen is equal legal rights. Nobody should be discriminated based on caste. Everyone have the equal right to vote, equal access to all education and public services. This will ensure the equality. And in case of equity, reservation in education, jobs, scholarship, hostel, and protective legislative legislation, as in STSC Act, to correct the historical exclusion and enable participation from them. In case of equality, there's many communities say why equality is needed. In case of different caste as communities suffer from discrimination from generation, and equality provide them the equality. You provide reservation in education, government jobs, scholarship, and hostel facilities, legal protection of SC ST. So, in my opinion, education should help students respect one another instead of just judging people by their caste. So, so this caste thing. Next would be equality and equity in context of class. Equality gives thus legal access to education, employment protection, and anti-poverty entitlement aim to level every field. So, economic class also affect our educational opportunities. Meaning, that equality means that every child has a right to education, and every citizen has equal legal rights. But poor families often struggle for to books, uniforms, and nutritious food. So there is a need for equity. So equity in class works as targeted welfare for low-income families, PM Poson, midday meal, free books, scholarships, right to education provision, and EWS admission reduce admission reduce material barrier. Also, the class genuinely accessible for this is backward class or financially lower or income families. So therefore, in this equity in our by our government or our constitution, and equity we provide through PM Poson Yojana, free textbooks, scholarship, right to education, and for the economically weaker section. These help measures reduce these gaps between the rich and poor students. So the inclusive idea, the inclusive teaching or inclusive society that we are progressing towards, that will help reduce the class barrier between this equity and equality in a measured way. Next is equality and equity in religion. Equality in religion, freedom of religion, equal civic right to protection from the pluralism and non-discrimination in public life. So India follows the principle of secularism, but to equality for equal religion, equality means that every citizens have right to practice any religion. No one should be face discrimination based on their faith. Equity, whereas minority scholarships, state support that minority institutes and culturally sensitive welfare schemes support the communities facing socio-economic marginalization. So equity supports these minority communities through scholarship, educational institute and welfare programs, so that they can receive the equal opportunity to prescribe or prosper in life or in society. In practice, equity safeguards aim to provide formal free education into real access to education service and representation. As future teacher, we should encourage students to respect every religion and have together and live together peacefully. Next, I am going to discuss about equity and equality in case of ethnicity and indigenous communities. So, equality, constitutional citizenship, and equal legal rights guarantee formal protection for everyone. And India has many ethnic groups with language differences, traditional and cultural differences. So, equity gives every citizen the same constitutional right protection under the same umbrella uh, of our Indian Constitution. Whereas equality is a special govern equality. through equality, we get that special governments of fifth and sixth schedule represent residential school, a club, mother tongue education, and targeted welfare recognize this cultural specific and geographical marginalization. So equality recognizes that some tribal indigenous communities face discrimination or get neglected. So therefore, this special provision of fifth and sixth schedule and residential school and learning, entire learning in mother tongue, and to support these communities and preserve their culture. So, equitable approaches emphasizes self-governance, cultural preservation, and resources access to alongside the mainstream inclusion. So, this type of indigenous community or different ethnic group or tribal group get the chance to become the part of the main society instead of just getting discriminated or neglected. Next is equality and equity in case of disability. So, equality, equal legal status, right to education and employment, anti-discrimination, protection under protection of dignity under the law. This is equality. So this means that every person with disability has the same right as of us to get educated, employment, and dignity as of everyone else to live in this society. However, equality will alone not be enough for this. So, equity, accessibility measures, ramps, sign language, inclusive curricula, barrel reading, excessive tech, provisional act, and exam consensus to enable the effective participation for this disabled people or specially able people. So Equity provides the ramp, barrier book, accessible to technology, sign language interpreter, and an inclusive classroom and examination consideration under the Rights of Person with Disabilities Act. This supports help learner participate confidently and independently without any barriers. Meaningful inclusion demands adoption of space and equity becomes lived equality. Equality becomes lived equality. In conclusion, can say that equality ensures that everyone has the same right, while equity provides the support they needed to achieve those rights. Together, they help reduce the discrimination, create an inclusive society in Indian context. Promoting both equality and equity in education is essential for ensuring justice, dignity, and equal opportunities for every learner. Uh, Both together reduce the discrimination and create a fruitful, inclusive society. As future teacher, it is our responsibility to create a classroom where every learner feels respected, supported, valued, regardless of this caste, class, religion, ethnicity, and disability. Thank you. Hopefully, everyone will enjoy this presentation.